Most people will spend the next 12 months waiting for a miracle that is never going to happen. They believe that the new year brings a new energy. Lie. The calendar is just a piece of paper. What changes the game isn't the stroke of midnight on the 31st, but what you do in the next 90 days. If you feel like you're running without getting anywhere, the problem isn't your willpower. It's your time horizon. Right now, your brain is programmed to fail. And I'm going to show you why annual planning is the biggest productivity trap ever created. More than that, I'm going to give you the exact mechanism to compress 12 months of results into just 3. If you stay with me until the end, you'll understand why the first 15 minutes of this method are worth more than 10 years of frustrated attempts. The virus of structured procrastination. You've made New Year's goals before, right? Gym, money, relationships. On paper, everything looks perfect. In January, you're on fire. In February, the fire turns to embers. In March, you don't even remember where you stashed the notebook. This happens because of Parkinson's law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. If you give yourself 12 months to reach a goal, it will take you 12 months. Or worse, you'll spend 10 months procrastinating because there's still time, and the last 2 months in a panic trying to save the year. The 12-month plan is an invitation to laziness. It's a virus. The solution: kill the year. The 12-month year is dead. From now on, your world revolves around 90-day cycles. But be careful. It's not just about doing it faster. There is a science behind time compression that, if ignored, will lead you to burnout in less than 2 weeks. And the secret to avoiding that lies in what I call the brutal elimination filter. But we'll get there in a minute. The anatomy of the 90-day cycle. Why 90 days? It's the sweet spot of human psychology. It's enough time to see real results, but short enough that you can see the finish line from day one. Imagine a 100-meter sprint versus a marathon. In a marathon, you save energy. In a sprint, you give it your all. The 90-day method transforms your life into 4 annual sprints. But before you start the first sprint, you need to face an uncomfortable truth. The reason you don't have the life you want today isn't what you don't do. It's what you insist on continuing to do. You are carrying trash. Excess projects, excess open tabs, excess people who suck your energy. To design your best year in 90 days, the first step isn't adding. It's subtracting. How many goals do you have right now? 5, 10. If you have more than 3 goals, you have none. You have distractions. The brutal elimination filter. Here is the challenge. I want you to look at your wish list and choose only one thing. Just one. The one that, if achieved, would make all the others irrelevant or much easier. If you can't choose, your life's algorithm will stay stuck. Most people are afraid to choose because choosing one thing means saying no to 1,000 others. But success is built on no's. Think about it. Which project scares you? The one you've been putting off because you know it demands your absolute best? That's the one. That's where your 90-day year begins. But wait. Having the goal is easy. What destroys 99% of people is the transition from goal to daily execution. This is where the plan fails. You wake up tomorrow and, what do you do first? If you hesitate for 10 seconds in front of the computer, you've already lost to your reptilian brain. To avoid this, we need the micro-execution trigger mechanism. I'm going to show you how to set this up now, because without it, the next 90 days will just be a repeat of the last 90. The trigger mechanism, turning vision into motion. You've heard that knowledge is power. That is a blatant lie. Knowledge is only power if it is applied. Otherwise, it's just mental obesity. To design your best year, you need a navigation system. Divide your 90 days into 3 30-day blocks. Month 1, the foundation and friction month. Month 2, the momentum month. Month 3, the harvest and expansion month. In the first month, you don't focus on the result. You focus on the behavior. If your goal is financial, you don't focus on the $10,000. You focus on the 5 proposals you need to send per day. The fatal mistake is looking at the top of the mountain while you're still tripping over your own feet. But now, pay close attention. There is a silent saboteur that appears around day 20. It's the valley of despair phase. It's when the novelty wears off and the hard work starts to feel heavy. If you don't have what I call negative friction contracts, you will quit. And I'm going to show you how to create these contracts so that quitting is more painful than continuing. Negative friction contracts. The psychology of commitment. Human beings flee from pain and seek pleasure. The problem is that the pleasure of procrastination is immediate, while the pleasure of success is delayed. To win, you need to invert this logic. How? By making failure immediate and painful. Imagine you have to pay $100 to someone you hate every time you miss a workout or fail to complete your master task of the day. Suddenly, the laziness disappears. Don't trust your motivation. Motivation is an unfaithful friend who vanishes when the weather gets cold. Trust systems. Trust contracts. But there is something even deeper. Even with contracts, if your environment is against you, you will lose. Your house, your phone, your friends. They are designed to keep you exactly where you are right now. To change your year in 90 days, you need an ecosystem cleanse. And that might mean deleting certain apps or distancing yourself from certain people. Is it radical? Yes. But do you want common results or extraordinary ones? The routine of the unshakable. Now, let's talk about the first 2 hours of your day. This is where the 90 days are won or lost. Most people start the day reacting. Notifications, emails, other people's problems. If you start the day reacting, you've already handed over control of your life to the world. The rule is simple: production before reaction. In the first 90 minutes of your day, no one else exists. The world could be ending, but you are focused on your one thing. If you do this consistently, you will have produced more in 90 days than most people produce in an entire year of busy work. But pay attention. What I'm about to tell you is what separates the amateurs from the professionals. There is a technique called high-intensity time boxing. If you master this, you'll feel like you have 48 hours in a day. Time boxing and the flow state. It's not about managing time. Time is fixed. It's about managing your energy and attention. The brain takes about 23 minutes to regain full focus after a small interruption. A WhatsApp notification doesn't just cost 10 seconds. It costs 23 minutes of intelligence. In your 90 days of transformation, you will work in 90-minute blocks of deep focus. No phone. No Wi-Fi if it's not strictly necessary. Just you and the task. But how do you maintain this pace without frying your brain? Here enters the secret of strategic recovery. If you don't know how to rest, your brain will force a rest through procrastination. And here is the loop I want to close with you. Remember when I said the 12-month plan is a trap? It's because it doesn't give you urgency. In 90 days, every week is like a month. Every day is like a week. When you understand this scale, your future self starts to take shape today. The grand finale, the revelation of the pattern. What happens after 90 days? Many fear that after this effort, they'll go back to zero. But the magic of the 90-day cycle is that it creates skill compounds. At the end of the first cycle, you aren't just a person who reached a goal. You are a person who learned to master their own will. You designed your best year not because you predicted the future, but because you built iron foundations that no one can knock down. The results you seek, the body, the bank account, the freedom, are just side effects of who you became during those 90 days. Time is going to pass anyway. 3 months from now, you can be in the same place, making the same excuses, or you can look back and not recognize the person you were today. The question isn't whether the method works. The question is, do you have the courage to be brutal with your distractions for just 90 days? The solution is in front of you. The mystery of productivity has been solved. The tension between who you are and who you want to be can only be resolved with immediate action. Your next step. Now, you have two options. Close this video and continue your life as if nothing happened. Go back to the 12-month cycle of mediocrity. Or, you can decide that your first 90-day cycle starts now. Not tomorrow. Not on Monday. Now, take a piece of paper. Write your one thing. Define your penalty for non-compliance. And clear your schedule for tomorrow morning. If you want to know exactly how to structure your first 90-minute block to ensure you don't fail on the very first day, I've prepared something special. I can show you the exact Iron Morning script that the top 1% use to dominate these cycles. Do you want me to detail this morning execution system for you to start tomorrow? More content. Most people fail because they treat discipline as a moral virtue, when it is actually a limited biological resource. If you spend your energy deciding what to eat or what clothes to wear, you won't have the strength for your 90 days. What I'm going to reveal to you now is the cognitive shielding protocol. It's what prevents your brain from negotiating with you when the alarm goes off. The 5-second brutal execution rule. There is a 5-second window between an idea and the moment your brain kills it. If you want to design your best year, you need to learn to act before doubt sets in. In the next 90 days, you will apply the zero activation cost rule. What does that mean? If your goal requires you to write, your computer must be open to the blank page before you go to sleep. If your goal is physical, your clothes must be in the path between your bed and the bathroom. You cannot trust your will at 6 a.m. You need to design the environment so that it is impossible not to do. But here is the danger. Most people start fast and break on the 14th day. Why? Because they ignore the law of psychological homeostasis. Your old self is going to try to pull you back into the comfort zone with a violent force. You know that voice that says, "Just for today, it's no big deal"? That voice is the kiss of death. I'm going to teach you how to silence that voice using a neural pattern interruption technique. The anticipated identity hack. You are not trying to change. You have already changed. Behavioral psychology proves that behavior follows identity. If you say, "I'm trying to stop procrastinating," you still see yourself as a procrastinator. In your 90 days, you will adopt the identity of the professional. An amateur works when they feel like it. A professional works when it's on the schedule. Period. But how do you maintain this intensity without burning out? Here enters the concept of focus villages. Divide your week into attack days, total focus on the main goal; maintenance days, clearing out pending tasks; vacuum days, absolute disconnection to recharge dopamine. If you don't have the vacuum day, your brain will seek micro-rewards, social media, food, distraction, during the attack day. The retention of your life depends on where you place your eyes. If you look to the side, you lose rhythm. The final loop, the compound effect of 90 days. Imagine that each of these 90 days is a brick. If you lay one brick a day perfectly, by the end you will have a wall. The problem is that people try to build the whole wall in a single weekend and quit on Monday. The secret to compressing 12 months into 3 is speed of implementation. How much time passes between you having an idea and you executing it? The big players reduce this time to minutes. The losers wait months for ideal conditions. Conditions will never be ideal. Chaos is the only constant. The next 90 days will be chaotic. You will have family problems, work problems, exhaustion. And that is exactly why this method works. It is designed for the real world, not for a self-help lab. Are you feeling the pressure? Good. Pressure is what turns coal into diamonds. If you've made it this far, you've already proven you have more retention and focus than 95% of the world population who already closed this video to watch memes. You are part of the elite that executes. The big turnaround. Now, pay attention to what I'm going to say, because this is the final piece of the puzzle. There is a mistake that 99% of people make in the last week of the 90-day cycle. They relax before the finish line. I call this the 41st kilometer syndrome. The marathon runner who collapses meters from the end. To ensure you don't just finish, but that your next 90-day cycle starts with 10x more power, you need the re-entry system. This system is what makes success inevitable and automatic. Without it, you'll have 1 good quarter and 3 mediocre quarters. With it, you'll have a decade of victories in just 2 years. Do you want me to give you the re-entry script now to ensure your progress never backslides again, even when you're tired? Finalizing now. Here is the finishing touch. The moment the plan leaves the paper and becomes your iron reality. The re-entry script is what separates those who have a productivity spurt from those who build an empire. Most people finish a 90-day cycle and sigh, "Phew, it's over." They relax. They drop their guard. And in less than a week, all the old habits, the procrastination, the distraction, the mediocrity, come back to fill the void. To ensure your progress is permanent, you need to apply the law of strategic inertia. In the last 7 days of your 90-day cycle, you don't slow down. You accelerate. You use the energy of the result to project the next leap. If you hit your financial goal, you don't spend the money. You reinvest in the system that generated that money. If you reached the body you wanted, you don't go back to eating junk. You set a new performance standard. The Day 91 Ritual. Day 91 is the most dangerous day of your life. It's the day your brain will try to convince you that you deserve an eternal rest. Don't fall into that trap. On Day 91, you do the war debriefing. What worked? Identify the victory pattern. What was noise? Eliminate what didn't bring ROI, return on investment. What is the new ceiling? If you compressed 12 months into 3, what stops you from compressing 5 years into 1? The truth is, after the first 90 days, you are no longer the same person who started this video. Your neural connections have changed. Your pain threshold has increased. Your tolerance for disorder has vanished. The ultimatum: why you can't close this video and go to sleep. You now have the map, the engine, and the fuel. If you don't act in the next 60 minutes, this knowledge will evaporate. The YouTube algorithm will suggest a cheap entertainment video, your dopamine will spike for a futile reason, and tomorrow you'll wake up being the yesterday version of you. Your best year isn't in 2027, 2028, or some mystical date in the future. It is buried under the excuses you make today. Designing your best year in 90 days isn't about what you gain at the end. It's about who you kill in the process. Your lazy self, your hesitant self, your self that accepts good enough. The final action. The time for watching is over. The time for executing has begun. Grab your stopwatch. Mark your first 90 minutes of deep focus. The world will try to pull you back. Your friends will call you for distraction. Your phone will vibrate. Ignore them all. Success is a lonely sport until you reach the top. I'll see you on Day 90, with the life you always said you wanted, but only now had the courage to build. Go out there and take what is yours.